Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm here to present my leadership essay interview, and I've chosen to interview Mr. Jason Mclaughlin, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Kisco Senior Living. Just put in a quote from Ronald Reagan: "The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one who gets the people to do greatest things." So I chose this quote because of how my presentation would be showing what kind of leadership Mr. Jason McLaughlin has, and then also what I've learned from my interview with him. So just a quick highlight for Mr. McLaughlin. He did not have any prior senior living experience. He actually came from hospitality, which is hotels and golf courses. And then he joined with Kisco about 10 and a half years ago and started as more of a regional sales marketing role. He, of course, received a lot of success with that role, and therefore, 4 years after that, he was promoted to Chief Revenue Officer. And then, as of last year, he became the Chief Operating Officer of Kisco. So I asked him what is the change or the industry change impact on his leadership style. He did mention purpose. The purpose of the leadership purpose that he has changed. So he moved from being driven by numbers when he was back in sales, and then going to the meaningful why of leadership. So he did find a profound impact with how he leads with the frontline associates and how the associates have families and are seniors, that effect that they have during that critical life chapter, which is when they come into senior living. And so he feels that with his role, he has a responsibility to shift the motivation of the associates with a deep sense of accountability for their well-being and also the residents' well-being. So then there is success and growth with the company. So I asked him why senior living. He was really honest about explaining that it was not something that he initially anticipated that he's going to be joining as far as industry. But it landed on him. He was initially not very sure of what senior living is and had told a recruiter and asked, are you talking about long-term care or skilled nursing? And so, but he took a leap of faith, and he considers this now as one of the best decisions that he made in his life. So leadership philosophy, his personal values, is very people people first, people centric. He handles his leadership, his conversations, his decision making, all with transparency. And based on professional experience, he is also a servant leader. He is always thinking about being of service and having that commitment with the residents and the associates in the entire company. So his foundation, vision, and agility, I mentioned it earlier. Foundation, people-centric leadership. His vision, he is a transformational leader, and his agility is that he is an evolving leader as he goes through his career. So what kind of leader he is? People-centric leader, he deals with empowerment and growth by providing empathy and trust and being service-oriented with everyone in the organization. So that's whether you're an associate, you're a peer, you're the resident, or you're a family member. His vision is always inspired by his purpose. He's always looking into innovation and also leading by example. And then, as an evolving leader, he leads by making sure that he shows his team that he's adaptable, that he is willing to continuously learn, and that he has resilience to any changes that come his way. And then, as far as daily challenges, I know with a higher role like that, you versus comparing to a community position like myself, I was curious to know what would be a daily challenge in his role, right? And so he shared that the daily challenge he has is combating distance from the truth. And this was a reality thought for me, because I do understand how that goes. Like, where information becomes filtered as it moves up on the hierarchy, because he's so high up on that um, ladder of leadership, where finding solutions to finding the root cause of the problem and finding solutions to it, it requires for him to go from the community level rising to the RVP levels, and then the national level, and then him. And so getting the right information to be able to know what the root cause of the problem is and the solution is really very critical for him as a leader. And that's one of the challenges that he has. He mentioned that his solution to this is that he utilizes his management by the wandering approach that we call. So he's always making sure that he just doesn't rely on what the community level leadership, the net regional or the national level leadership is sharing. He actually goes and wanders around to the communities and makes sure that he also listens to the staff and the residents and really go get on the bottom of the root cause of the problem. His COVID-19 response, he prioritized transparency and integrity. Even though it was a scary time for him, they would rather make sure that they're transparent of everything that's going on, rather than have to deal with issues of fixing that later. And so for them, for him as a leader, by choosing openness over reputation management, they have avoided certain challenges like avoiding layoffs, and they've invested on safety and fostered an organizational resilience that differentiated Kisco as a company among the competitors. And lastly, my takeaways for it, I summarized it in three accounts. So one, vocalize your growth and lean into discomfort. It just means, don't wait for permission to lead. You have to actively communicate what you aspire to, and then also be someone that is a champion. Say yes to roles that makes you uncomfortable, because this is something that will allow you to grow. Second one, operationalize servant leadership. So as you know, leadership is a bridge between needs and solutions. So therefore, it requires moving beyond just collecting feedback to acting on it visibly. So when the staff sees that our input drives a systemic change as leaders, it builds a sustainable culture of honesty and participation, not just within your peers, but from everybody in the staff. And then lastly, curate your leadership style through observation. So I firmly believe that every manager, good or bad, is a teacher, but it's up to you as an individual, as a future leader, to know consciously what traits you're going to adapt from your teacher or from your mentor, what you see from others, and choosing to model integrity and curiosity, and discarding habits that are not applicable to your growth, or what will break trust that you should eliminate. And so these are my three takeaways from what I've learned from my leadership interview with Jason Mclaughlin. Thank you.